And here we are, episode 22 of Michigan's AutoTalk Podcast. I am Phil Tower, booth announcer for the podcast. In just a moment, we'll say hello to Al Schwinkendorf and John Puhek from Verberg's Automotive, stars of the show. Remember, every episode we bring you of Michigan's AutoTalk is all about celebrating the automobile, everything automotive, and trucks, of course. And we're also all about helping you and supporting you, the car and truck lovers across our great state of Michigan, the birthplace of everything automotive. I'm with Al Schwinkendorf and John Puhek. And here in episode 22, we go kind of a throwback to episode 19. And by the way, all of our podcasts are available if you just look wherever you love podcasts, Apple, Spotify, anywhere. Spreaker is our home site, and you can find our webpage there. Just Google Michigan's AutoTalk Podcast, and it'll come right up. But we talked about just this insane parts shortage, which is really hitting the entire country, guys. And
you know what? And everything from manufacturers to us on the repair end, to dealers. I mean, I'd say what you want, but if we go to, like, there was a AC condenser shortage for Silverados. So they say, oh, we're getting 20 of them in. Their customers got the 19, and whoever was number one on the list got the. I mean, that's. But it's affecting everybody. Yep.
Yeah, and what a surprise! Everybody now, as we try to emerge from COVID, there's still a question about that. Everybody's looking for stuff to do with their cars. Even during COVID, you could order stuff online on eBay and Amazon, which gets to the point of this. We have the best-selling car parts on Amazon and on eBay. And we'll start with number one on Amazon. The most popular parts sold on Amazon as far as car parts.
Headlight bulb.
You're close. It's in the list. Exterior parts and accessories. This is the add-on stuff. This is the grill upgrades, the chrome trim, the tonneau covers, the Nerf bars.
The guy who's supposed to be working from home in the garage all day, and then he does his work at 11 o'clock at night.
Seriously, so everybody's complaining about, we don't have money, I don't have a job, COVID and all this. And then what do? You go out and buy stupid little LED stickers and all that. I mean,
about that van you looked at this afternoon.
Well,
was that all-wheel drive?
No.
Okay. I can't see our friend climbing up there. You need a 6-foot step ladder to put anything in that luggage rack, and that's $1,250 just for looks. And you can't run it through the car.
This is going to be my only little political commentary or social commentary, but I think a lot of people are still fixated on the look of everything when they want it big, jacked up, and all that, and all you do is pound the pavement. So congratulations, your super swamper mud tires have, worn out on the pavement before you even got to see Sand Lake or anything like that. So I think everybody just needs to start realizing what they actually need to do. But anyways, that's my last thing. Because this van was really nice, but it's like, I know the guy that's buying
over the top.
And this is just like, dude, you need to get rid of these tires. You need to get rid of this lift. Just go back to being a middle-aged man like me and just call it.
Did you tell him it wouldn't fit in his garage, or hasn't he figured that out yet?
No, I will. That's going to
plug the driver. Here's the deal. We've always had this, the guys in the spring, the guy's Corvette has like a header. He wants to put a chrome air filter on it or something. The wife's wheel bearing for 6,000 miles, and that's the one that they're taking on summer vacation. But it doesn't matter because he wants an air filter and the widgets and stuff put on the Corvette. That's just life.
All right, let's jump back into the list. So we had exterior parts and accessories number one. This is best-selling auto parts on Amazon, and Amazon is the biggest seller online. No surprise about that. Number two, interior parts and accessories. This is all the stuff you can stick inside because you're bored.
Fresh. Yeah, no, I can. Hang on. I can see this one.
Dash kit, floor mounts, window tint, seat covers, molding trims, and niche items such as seat back organizers, gel enhanced seat cushions, and garbage cans is listed.
So here's the thing. This is my mindset. This is almost like the I forget what I was watching, but it was basically saying the marketing of having little $5, $2 junk stuff at the checkout line makes you want to buy it.
Yep.
So when you got that little weird mirror that you can put in your back of your, I don't know, center console, or you've got that seat cover that, well, it's only $10. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, and it'll keep the dust off my original one. It's like that almost compulsory buying for the auto person. They want to look at it and be like, oh, if I get a new seat cover, it's going to be like a brand new car. It's the same thing when I paint the inside of my house. Oh, it's a brand new house. It's a brand new seat. But that all adds up, and part of it I think is good. I mean, I've had seat covers on my vehicles before, and they saved a lot of nonsense. But I think there's a lot of that compulsory, because it's like that Walmart buy 2 for one, and you're good to go. So I'm getting a deal. I'm getting a steal on it.
Like our friend with the LED lights on the pickup truck. I mean, you know what? Dropped 150 grand, but he puts them in. It's like the turn signals don't work. Well, you got to put on these little resistors that are $50 to make that work, and it goes on and on and on and on. We have a love-hate relationship with the aftermarket stuff. I love LED headlights and things like that, where they're bright and you can see and stuff like that. But when you go retrofit through Amazon and eBay and stuff like that, there's this thing about the headlights. The round headlight fit old vehicles in the 60s and the 70s, and that old buddy with an old Bronco or International Scout or Chevy Blazer has them, and they've got halos on them, so you look like a BMW or a Dodge Hellcat. They don't work. They work for like, and they're dead. I've got one guy who had 6 sets of them for $89.99 a piece because he wouldn't go spend the $200 to get the good ones. Well, that's 6 times 9. Come on. It's, oh boy, that's you got to pay to play. And so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting LEDs for your truck or your car, but you need to do the research. Do you need like a, external ballast, or do you need some type of resistor or what exactly? Cause that it looks cool for a while and just burns out in 5 seconds. And then you're like, okay, well, I spent that, I don't know, what would you say? All those, get a fancy halo set up for a Honda Civic. What would you say that'd be? If you get the cheap ones, $120.
There you go. So, and then that burns out after maybe a month. And then
$120 to check it out and say it's bad halos. And yeah.
It's not worth it. It's with everything. It's called doing your homework.
The third best-selling car products, and we're running through the list. Best-selling car parts on Amazon: exterior parts and accessories 1, number 2, interior parts and accessories, number 3, what a surprise, LED products and lighting. And it's everything. And I think the takeaway here, and we'll just leave it at that, like you just said, buyer beware. You're going to run into all kinds of electrical and voltage issues, and I think in that case you really only want to stick with what you will know. Go to your Napa parts store and get something that will work if you're going to do it yourself, or have your local favorite shop like Verberg's just change the light bulbs for you, or recommend it. I mean, if you have a customer who's got non-LED headlights, are you guys going to walk down that road with them, or what are you going to tell them?
Well, if you got a car that's 2015 or newer, cost yourself a lot of money putting things in that, I mean, people have no idea. You go scan, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Let's say a Chevy Equinox 4-cylinder entry-level thing. John puts the scanner in it and reads all the codes in every module. There might be 30 different modules in there, and that headlight computers before it actually gets that out there. And if you put something in that's got the resistance that's wrong, you could fry them maybe too. And It's one thing if you've got a 69 Camaro and you want to try to put LED headlights and turn signals and stuff in it. But when you're talking about a modern car, you got to be really careful. You know, there's a lot of cars now that are 5-6 years old that if you blow out a bulb and it comes on the dash and says you got a bulb out, they go to AutoZone, bulb in it, and it still doesn't work. And they go in, they get another. After the fourth one, it's like, okay, it's not the bulb. And it's just because it set a trouble code to protect computers in the car. And you have to go in there with the scanner and turn that off. And that's for a reason. And 5 years ago, we didn't have that. They didn't set the code and shut that circuit down, and people fried stuff. And it can be very, very expensive.
Yeah. So buyer beware, and best off, don't be buying lights and stuff like that on Amazon. You're running risk. By the way, just to round out that list of best-selling car stuff on Amazon, air filters. This is the rest of the list. Air filters, battery accessories like chargers, jumpers, trickle chargers.
Good call.
Car covers, car tires and rims, keyless and key entry fobs, manuals and literature. You see a lot of that for the collectors. And of course, here's one that'll drive you guys crazy. Performance chips and programmers.
Well, see, now I'm surprised we didn't see any like detailing stuff other than the air fresheners or what. I would imagine.
No, not on there.
If you've got like a nice clean dash, you look outside your car as you drive around. I don't care what the outside looks like. I live on a dirt road, so it's dirty. But if I get that nice dash clean, I'm surprised that Armor All or that horrible sheen white. I don't know. I like the
collects dust and makes it worse.
Exactly. It just collects cobwebs and everything. I'm surprised that wasn't on the list.
Yeah, but I think it's more of a through that list and what they're doing and what they're buying. Tires and rims. We see issues with that too because tire pressure monitor system. Go out and I just spent $4,500 on tires and rims, and I got this light on, and my mom's mad because she thinks my car's not safe because of the light on. And it's just like you needed to spend another $250 and set that up and make it right. And it's modifying modern cars is really hard to do, and it's really expensive. And spend the money and do it right, but on a budget, you're better off buying a little pine tree and get the dash wipes.
Yeah. Well,
keep it clean, make it look sharp, and just enjoy. Nobody builds them better than the factory. Believe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if Chevy could make an extra 200 horsepower out of 5.3 in a Silverado and have it still get better mileage than Ford, they'd do it in a heartbeat. They wouldn't even charge you extra. Stuff is peaked out right now. And when you go messing with it, you got to really, really hard, because there's nothing worse than having only 42 more payments at $589 a month, and you just destroyed $1,200 worth of electronics in your vehicle.
As much as I hate to say it, engineers kind of know what they're doing. Yeah, as a mechanic, trust me, exactly. They know what they're doing. So just do your homework.
All right, perfect segue to a Facebook question we had from Chad Reinders. Chad is a regular on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Michigan's Auto Talk, and we hope you'll like our page if you haven't. Chad asked, and Mr. Puhek was kind enough to remind us we hadn't answered this question. Best pickup truck recommendations through the decades. So do we want to, let's just start in the 80s because we don't have a lot of time. 80s, 90s, and the aughts, and I guess the 10s, where we are now. I think really not much has changed since 2000, or maybe I'm wrong. Let's start with the 80s.
Oh, a lot's changed.
Okay, Al goes first through all.
Al goes first. It's what you like, because you can't make a Dodge guy a Chevy guy and a Chevy guy a Ford guy.
That just blew my entire argument. Okay, well,
and here's number two. I drive Fords. I make my living working on Chevys. I just there's so many differences. There's the half-ton people who drive them around like cars. There's the four-wheel drive people versus the two-wheel drive. It's hard to buy a two-wheel drive truck anymore in Michigan unless you're talking like a one-ton dually. There's diesel guys and the problem is, it's like the guy who has a 60-mile highway commute with a Prius. You buy a 1-ton diesel and you drive it back and forth to work. That guy should have a half-ton with the twin-turbo 6-cylinder. And people get it all wrong, but it's gearing it for what you want. And you know what? All three of them the big three, there's an argument for every one of them in my book.
Yep. I agree, with the exception of your earlier statements. I think
I got the numbers, dude.
Yeah.
I'll show them to you.
Hush up. Just hush up.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this in here though, just for the sake of pure numbers and sales. Is it me, or has the Dodge really taken over, especially if you look 25 years ago versus the Ram and where we are today?
It's quantity over quality. Nobody likes Dodge.
They went way far away from the cheese they used to have. Yeah. I mean, because if you're talking 70s and 80s, those bodies were just like an early Honda. I mean, they were rusted when you bought them. Yep. They were loud, cheesy. Their interiors were crap and everything else. But they've done like the Jeep thing when they put a leather interior and a hog. It's still what it is. The Hemi engine and the power and everything has got a lot of people drawn in, and you do see a lot more of them out on the road, but I still think it's just you got to like what you're driving. And the Ford versus Chevy versus Dodge thing, whether you do it on a pulling track, you do it on an off-road course, if you're going to fight it out on a drag strip, it really doesn't matter. It's got to come down to what you like and what you're used to, because they're vastly different.
And by the way, that's the biggest thing, not to interrupt Phil, but that's the biggest thing. I am familiar with Chevy, so therefore I know when certain things on the Chevy motor are going out, or I know how to handle certain driveline issues. When it comes to Dodge and Ford, I'm still familiar, but I'm not as much. So I know I'm more familiar with it. So when it starts to go out, I don't have nearly the amount of anxiety or, perplexity of, oh no, this is going to happen. What's it going to be? It's like, nope, it's this. Boom, boom, boom. Ford F1 or the 5.0s, cam phasers. Boom, no problem. All right. Chevy, brake lines, early, mid 2000s. Okay, yep, that's what it's going to be. Once you've been birthed into, or you've experienced all these issues, you just kind of know it. And I don't know if it's like being a Lions football fan, you just start drinking the Kool-Aid and you just say it is what it is. Or
there you go. Just like being a Lions fan, you got to love them. Otherwise it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really does come down to that. By the way, Car and Driver just came out about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Best selling vehicles overall for 2021. So about 6 months into the year. And they ran the numbers. The Silverado now, in terms of full-size trucks, has dropped down to number 3. Really slow sales in the first half of 2021, passed by the Dodge. So the Silverado so far, 286,410 units sold. The Dodge, at the time of publication of this article, about halfway through the year, 313,000, the second best selling full-size pickup truck now in the country. And of course, the F series overall, almost 400,000 sold just in the first half.
Right. But I hate it when they call them chips. The semiconductor shortage hit Ford first, and it hit Chrysler, kind of got around it with contracts they had. And it just like 3 months ago hit General Motors to the point where they shut down some production lines, and they're close. Chevys and Ford are neck and neck. The Chrysler comes in. I've tried to buy, I'm going to call them Mopars, because they change ownership every other day, or when our president decides to give them to Italy or whatever. I don't know how you can afford them. They're so damn expensive. It's unbelievable. You go buy a base truck and it's cheaper than the Ford or Chevy, but do you want power steering? Of course I want power steering. Okay. Yeah. Power steering is $375, and you have to have this special smaller steering wheel. That's another $550. So I don't know how people can afford Mopars, but they do.
And the prices still keep going up, and people are financing them for what now? 8, 9, 10 years. And
is that insane? 8 years? My father.
8 years? You got to be kidding me.
My father told me if you ever,
it's common.
He said if you ever finance a vehicle for more than 3 years, I'm going to kick you. And now those days are done. But they want $80,000 for the truck.
Yeah.
No, just let it ride. Come on, why not? Right.
And they just can't help themselves. Hey, by the way, Al, I was curious too. The official name of Chrysler at least this week of 2020.
Yeah. Wait until next week. It'll change.
FCA US, reflecting its subsidiary status to Italian parent Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. So it's FCA US. Dumb name. I'm sorry.
Well, glad we got that straight, though. I don't even know.
Name. Yeah, nobody knows. And nobody knows. They're just going to go in the showroom, and much to Buick's dislike, they're going to buy the Dodge Ram. So
but no, the thing is, though, that company's been troubled forever. I mean, they were 2 inches away from Rambler, but the K car in the Iacocca era, and then the minivan, and then they bought the Rambler, they bought the Jeep, and that saved them. And the Ram's going to save them right now because the rest of their car line is like nothing that I want to drive.
No.
Yeah, and especially the thing with the Ram is you get that 22-inch TV monitor, that giant iPad-looking thing in the center.
So you think you're in a Tesla, even though it's a Dodge pickup truck.
It's bigger than the Tesla screen. It's insanely big. And with
everybody likes a big screen. I love mine.
Just watch where you're going down the road. That is going to put the wraps on episode 22. We love if you would tell a friend about Michigan's Auto Talk podcast. You can even go into Verberg's and tell these knuckleheads what you like and don't like. And I'm protected because I'm not there until something breaks in my car. And
I'll see your son with the new car.
You will sooner than later. That's for sure. Until then, I'm Phil Tower, executive producer, Michigan's Auto Talk Podcast.
I'm Al Schwinkendorf.
I'm John Puhek from Verberg's Automotive Service. Thanks for listening.